We're back. We're down a man.
Yeah, where the hell is Kiez? What's going on? Two people is not enough.
It's just you and me, one-on-one, just like the old days, the very start of the show.
I think I need a buffer between us. I need something to space this out a little bit.
Nah, sorry. We're going one-on-one, me and you. We do have a guest later on, which is exciting. Very exciting to have a guest now on the Tom and Laney show. But, yeah, Kieran...
Is the guest going to be Kieran?
No, Kieran's not the guest. Kieran's actually... He's gone AWOL on us, and he's actually ditched us for his ice hockey grand final, which he somehow forgot to mention yesterday, despite the fact that it's the end of the season. You think, wow, it's probably something you would remember, being in a grand final.
Oh, I feel like that's his biggest game of the year, isn't it? Doesn't he just have one grand final per year?
Well, especially considering last week he mentioned on the show, and we all knew about it, that he was playing in a I assume as a semi-final, and he won it, and they won it in like overtime or something ridiculous, something exciting, and he's somehow completely forgotten on the day that he was supposed to play the biggest game of the season. So
I don't understand that.
Very disappointing, Kieran. But you know, the show moves on. You know, we had Blake. So just a little insight for the listening audience out there. We didn't do this one live. A few little technical issues, but we worked our way through it. But Kiz wasn't able to be well, he was there in the background, recording our interview with Blake there. But he won't be on the show today. So if you're waiting for Kiz to put on his hat, unfortunately, you won't be able to see him put on his hat or listen to him put on a hat today.
I think there's a nice little feature of him bringing the pizzas in, so that's probably the highlight of Kiz's journey this week.
If you are watching on YouTube, just skip along, and maybe if you really want to see Kiz's bald head, that's something for you to do. The question I have for you, Lane, is where were you last night? Because we're all there ready to record with Big Blakey. We're all excited, but you were nowhere to be found.
I had I guess nursing duties. I guess Miranda had a sick tum-tum, soulmate of the show, so I was looking after her. But then we had a big bushfire, and we actually had to evacuate the house. So that was pretty.
You actually had to evacuate?
Yeah, we evacuated at probably 12:30 last night because the fire was fine, and obviously nowhere near us. Well, not nowhere near us. It's still a few streets away, and then the wind changed, and it just started coming straight for us. So it was pretty cooked. I saw in the boys group today you put that fire map up or whatever, but I didn't realize that, because I remember when I was driving to Kieran's, I saw so out the left I was driving from Baronia towards Kieran's in the basin, and on the left hand side you could see the smoke rising from like your sort of area, I suppose. I mean, I have no idea how far it is, and you couldn't really see that closely, but then I saw a video just before of the fires. It looked pretty full on. Yeah, it was pretty cooked, and we had like all ash in our backyard. Like, it was actually pretty full on, and we're also dog sitting at the moment, so we had to pick up the dog, the cat, 2 dogs and a cat, chuck them in the car. I had to go through what do you want to keep from the house? What would you pick if you were going to keep something you might not go back to the house? Well, I don't need to keep my PlayStation anymore because you have to worry about save files because it's all in the cloud. Don't really have that many games here. You know, if it was at my own house, I might have my Nintendo 64. So that's probably the priority. And then maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'd wake up Felicity and we'd escape and save ourselves. What do you think, Sweetie? Sweetie's in the background here. Felicity's nodding. Yeah, she's crossing her head, saying no. No, she's not. She's not me either. Mum always said to me, just make sure you get the photos. That's all she would care about when I was living with her. But last night, grabbed the animals and phone charger, watch charger. That's all I cared about. What else? There's one thing I thought you would take, Lane. The vape. Where's your vape? That's just in my head at all times. So it's just good to go. But laptops, stuff like that, photos, everything's backed up nowadays. So I just took my phone charger and watch charger. That was it. Yeah, that's probably, I'd take my laptop. That's probably the priority because it's expensive and it's pretty easy to take. And if you're in bed, then that's the easiest thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's maybe like 20 years ago, people, like I said, took a photo album or stuff, but that shit's all. But even laptop, all my stuff's backed up online. So I just thought, well, laptop will get sweet insurance payout, whatever. Well, you didn't think that was going to happen, and thankfully it's pissed down rain today, so
I'm sure the fire's completely out now, but that was pretty crazy. Like it seemed to pop out of nowhere. I don't know if it was like a mini bushfire or what were the. Do you know what the cause was?
No, they still don't know. And yeah, it was under. So the CFA went out at like 2 p.m. They went home at 7 p.m. thinking it was all good. And then it just went out of control. The wind changed and it would just, turn crazy.
Well,
so it's still going to go for another couple of days.
There's two families I know that I would be interviewing for suspicious reasons. You know who they are. They're friends of ours, these two families. They're always doing illegal things. There's one that is always into rental fraud, and the other is into sort of paraphernalia sales. And they're my two priority suspects if I was investigating any suspicious instances there, I reckon.
I would love to ask for some initials, but I really don't think we can do any more redacted.
No. All right, but enough about those two guys, and their families. They're out there. They're up to no good, but we'll move on because, we don't want to get any more redacteds, Lane, do we? No more redacteds.
I really don't think we've moved on. I reckon there's going to be another couple of weeks worth of these redactions. Okay, while we're still ironing out the show, I reckon there's going to be a few more incidences of this kind of stuff.
But thankfully, for this next guest, Lane, we actually did get permission. We got permission. He came on, and he was very excited to be on. We detailed, Blake's love life, all the sort of background of it, his romantic history, and it was an interesting chat. What did you take away from it, Lane?
Well, first of all, we didn't get permission from him. We got consent from him, which is the key term. I think Blake needs to really be across for the next. He's only got, what are we talking about? We're talking about 30 days, 60 days?
No,
left until he's 40.
I kept trying to reduce the number, but I think he does in all reality have about 5 years left until that big 40 mark, that one he doesn't want to hit. So the clock is counting down, that's for sure.
So I'm very excited for this interview. It'll be like I'm reliving it again because it was a good time. I love seeing Blake on the show, and here's Blakeoke this week. It's a cracker.
All right, let's get into it. No more waiting around. Here comes Big Blakey. Here he is, Lane. The man everyone's been talking about.
I'm more excited for the music than Blake, I think. This is nice.
Well, we got to set this up properly because Blake is a sexy man, and he's been battling it for a while. We all know his story. Well, most of us know his story, but there's a lot going on in his life, and the only thing missing is a bit of sensuality. Isn't that right, Blakey?
You could say that.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know Blake, he works at Ready Express.
Formerly Coles Express.
He owns his own bachelor plaid. He's got a mortgage. There's a lot going on for Blake, but Blakey, you just haven't found Mrs. Right. Haven't found Mrs. Martin yet, have you?
Not yet.
What's been your sort of approach to sort of the love game, Blakey? We previously had on the Tom and Laney show, we had a segment, we had a sort of running competition. It was called The Bitchelor, and we got various women on, and you sort of talked to them, and you had a little bit of a sort of an interview, if you will, for dates, but it didn't quite take hold. And then you've had a few dates since, but what's been your approach to sort of pursuing the opposite sex or the same sex? Whatever floats your boat, bro.
No same sex. Sorry, boys. Sorry about that.
Okay.
But my approach has been not really bothering to do anything, to be honest.
Oh, Kiez has brought pizzas
classic.
just in time. Just like a
know?
porno shoot. But
so what happened with the Bitchelor though? I want to hear the result of the Bitchelor, Blake. What did you hear back from Liz at all? Was there any follow up, or was there any ad on Facebook or MySpace?
Was her name Liz? Is that true?
Well, you're the one.
You're
the one.
Her name's Alyssa. No, her name's Alyssa.
Oh,
and her nickname was Liz, so you were pretty friendly with her. I thought you would have known her nickname by now.
No, heard nothing from her, unfortunately.
Because last time we checked in, Blakey, we set you up, and we actually brought Liz into the Sin FM studios in the heart of the CBD. We had her on radio with you, and we listened to the chat back, and we thought, it could have gone worse. We actually thought it went quite well, all things withstanding, but there was no follow up. There was no secondary action there. That's disappointing, bro.
Sometimes it's how it goes, you know.
Now, since that time, we had COVID and stuff, and the show's been off for a while. We had COVID, and just after COVID, you went on a couple of dates. Can you just provide us a bit of insight into how those dates went?
Well, yeah, the first couple went all right. I did fumble the bag on the second date.
What happened? So the first date you took was it Tasuki Lounge? What was it?
No, that was the second date.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
we're jumping ahead. What was the first
Take
date?
take us from the start.
First date was at Whole Foods, just a nice brunch.
Whole Foods,
casual
Adventure
affair.
Gully, the cafe there.
Of course,
Okay, that's good. That was wholesome. And how'd the conversation go?
Went well, had good vibes. I was feeling good about it,
Yeah, no, I remember you coming home and you telling me about the date. Everything seemed, pretty strong. And, the thing about a first date is, first date, you don't necessarily have to make out or whatever. First date can just be a bit of a feel. Like, Laney, you were on Tinder for a while when you became single, and you don't know every date has to immediately run into, hooking up and all that sort of stuff. Isn't that right?
I think the first date's just nice and getting to know someone. So I would expect on your first date, this was during COVID though, wasn't it, Blake?
It was. It was a really hard time for us all,
So
to be masked up.
Yeah, you were all masked up. So you had obviously a nice brunch, a lovely venue, actually really nice food at Whole Food Merchants. So
Yep,
what
shout
happened
outs.
at the very end of it?
We just said our goodbyes, and I think it was later that night. Gave it the old textaroo, said like to see each other again.
Damn, all right. Smooth.
Whoa, keen, very
And
keen.
then, so you sent her this text message, right? And everything went well on the date. What was the response? What was the sort of feedback from her?
Oh, it was good feedback, and set up the second date the next week. It's
Damn.
feeling good,
Okay, cool. So we set the scene there. We got Blake on his first date, and it all seemed well. And then the second date, remember, you did take her to Suki Lounge. Now, this is a bit of a nighttime date. Now, keep in mind for all of our listeners out there that this was during COVID, and you did have to wear masks, I think, in public spaces. So there's a bit of a blockade there. But once you obviously were having your dinner, you took your mask off and all that sort of stuff, right?
Of course.
Cool. So then walk us through the date, Blakey, because from what you sort of sounded to me, it sounded like the date went quite well in person at Suki Lounge.
Well, we went to order drinks, and she didn't want a drink, so I was like, okay, I thought we'd have at least one drink, but so that didn't start off well there, but I was like, okay, we don't have to drink, it's fine.
That's fine. She doesn't have to drink. Yeah, maybe she's a sober Sally.
I know. I was like, all right. I think the whole dinner date went well, and we're doing good, and it was towards the end where I really fumbled the bag,
Okay, so how specifically, Blakey? Because you're not that experienced with women, so I have to give you a little bit of leeway. But what was your big mistake? Because end of the date, good conversation. To me, you had Lane. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've done a lot more dating. Sort of post your long-term relationship than me or Blake.
He was a bit of a fuckboy for it.
Yeah, I mean, only Kieran. Kieran obviously dated like a lot of women. We went into that a few episodes ago. But you've had a lot of experience, Lane. Usually at that second date, you're probably going to try and go for a kiss, aren't you?
Maybe a nice peck, or at least, I don't know, something. You're masked on, so you straight away, mask would be off regardless. So
you just take your mask off, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. You wouldn't be. You're on your second date, especially. So no mask. That's my key. What would you have done, Blake? Well, what did you do?
Well, we had to put our mask back on. We walked it to a car, and
you walked.
So this is in Belgrave as well. So very heavy police presence, isn't there? There's police just rolling the streets.
everywhere.
So as soon as you walk out of this venue, you must mask up because you're being watched.
And you know what? The thing I always think about, back to COVID, Blake, is when you're on a date, right? The whole point is sort of to commit biological functions. So, you're going to make love or try to physically engage the other person. That's really the whole point of having a date. But it seemed to me, from what our conversation sort of, I learned from our conversation, Blake, is that you neglected that biological function and you decided to preserve yourself.
Well, you know what? I think I got a little bit too arrogant. I thought the third date was in the bag, And I was thinking, I kind of let into the hug. The mask was still on. It was a bit it's a bit of a weird goodbye. And,
So not even a peck on the cheek, nothing, just nothing at all.
Like that. It was. I like to blame the mask, but it was a bit, it's been a weird goodbye,
But third date's in the bag though. This is second date went very well.
Oh yeah, went well. I was like, oh fuck, she's gonna see me again for sure. No worries, mate.
Damn, because you've had a lot of success in the past, so
of course,
that sort of mindset of this is definitely going to happen. Is fait accompli. Okay,
you just know what the process is now. That's it with second date. Yep, there's definitely a third date.
Obviously, post the first date, you messaged her and you're like, hey, what's up? The second date, I would imagine you messaged her again. What did you hear back?
Yeah. Unfortunately, nothing. Got the old ghost on that.
The old ghosteroo.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Just no reply at all.
Even did the second message, I have to say.
Oh no! How soon was the second message?
It was like a couple of days after. I had to swallow my ego.
Ouch.
It wasn't easy. It was a hard thing to do.
Well, you know what? You had a crack. I will say, first time you went out there, you had a crack. It was your first proper real date with a woman at about 38 years old, or however. How old are you now?
I believe I was 29. Thank you.
Okay, 29. So he's
missed
missed the 30 mark for anyone out there. But we're going to try and make sure that Blake doesn't hit that 40 mark. If you know what I mean. That's the scary one. Now, during the
that's movie mark. Like you're gonna have your own movie by then.
Yeah, a documentary that you do not want to happen. Okay, so then my understanding, Blake, from memory, is then yes, you didn't hear back from this double date. Okay, you had a crack, thought it was in the bag, you fumbled said bag, and she ghosted you. Okay, cool. Second date, Blake. I understand you went on a second date with another lovely lady.
Look, this wasn't great. We just didn't. It was just. I'll be honest, bro. I was surprised she sat there for that long. There's no.
Just listening to you talk crap.
Conversation wasn't going good. It was just wasn't.
What was do you remember the hot topics of the conversation, or?
She was bitching about some guy she worked with.
Oh, jeez, that's a good start. She was bitching. I don't know about that.
It's funny you say about the conversation, Lane, because I distinctly remember one specific example of what Blake was talking about. I believe, Blake, you were talking about one of your family members or someone putting their head in an oven. Wasn't that what you mentioned?
No, that was when we were out one night, and I will have you know that joke killed. She laughed. She thought it was very funny. So
that's right. Sorry, I do remember that. That was a different time.
Much.
That was one of James's friends' friend, and James's friend is quite an attractive young girl, far too young for James, and she's promptly pushed him away.
Many of the women he's been with.
Yeah, correct. But this young woman you were talking to, Maurizio, was also trying to make his own moves on.
Well, it's very typical of him, trying to, run in my game. That's just.
And I also distinctly remember her looking like the Penguin from Batman Returns. Is that correct?
I mean, you could make a comparison. I couldn't say I would.
Hey, I think I've forgotten his name now. I think he's quite handsome. I can't. No, what's a penguin? Danny DeVito, quite a handsome man.
I thought you talking about new penguin. Sorry,
handsome man, maybe unattractive female though. But Blake had a crack. I just remember that. Now, the thing about dating, Blake, and
but going back to that was quite a highlight. It wasn't even a date. It was a friendly sort of thing that we were all at a bar. And somehow Blake just attracted this girl straight away, and conversation started flowing.
He gave her the riz, yeah.
So he's got that. The riz was on, so he's got the conversation flowing. It's just him and her. Next minute, he pulls out, my auntie put her head in the oven one day.
That's right.
I think the riz just really went downhill from there. Something's going on there.
Maybe it was like a sort of like magic meter and like a video game, right? Like you used all your riz. And you
I ran out of MP.
Yeah,
could
exactly.
do that.
And you're like, I better talk about some suicide now. I really should pull this one out.
That's what will make women most attracted to me, is talking about family suicide.
Hey, if you can't laugh about family suicide, don't date me. I don't know what to tell you, mate.
Okay. If any women listening out there, just take note of that. Grab your pen and paper and not
write that down. Yeah.
Now, Blake, I would say that at this point, right, you are 39 years old.
I'm not 39.
And
34,
to me,
very much.
there's an old saying that is very
44.
true. Yeah, he's something. He's close to 40. I don't know what the exact number is, but I think there comes a point where beggars cannot be choosers anymore, Blakey.
It's
And
one of my favorite quotes.
yeah, and I've often brought up to you that there is a need maybe to assess whether Tinder Gold is an option. Is that something you've thought about?
Nah, bro.
But why not?
Don't need it.
But sometimes you got to it's just like attracting fish. You got to throw your lure out there, bro. And at the moment, you're just not throwing your lure out there.
I'm sorry. It's unfortunately it's not in my budget. I have a mortgage.
So I'm casting my mind back to the days when I was on Tinder, and they would tease you. They would say things like, "These people liked you, but you've got to pay for gold to see who likes you." So is this still a thing? Are they still doing that?
Blake, comment.
I remembered up Hinge for the first time in a month today, so I couldn't tell you about Tinder. I haven't been on that in a minute, but that's where I'm on now.
No, I remember.
Yeah, but does it tell you that you've got to pay to see who liked you?
Oh yeah, you can pay to boost all this stuff.
So do you think that would be an additional sort of bit of help there, maybe?
Yes.
I disagree.
The answer is yes. Okay. Yes.
Hey, I don't fuck with microtransactions on my video games. I'm not going to fuck with it on my dating app. Thank you very much.
But what else? My question for you, Blake, is what the fuck else are you doing? Like you don't spend money on anything else. You don't do anything else with your time. You're a fucking loser who sits at home watching TV and watching Blu-rays all the time, Blakey. It's time to get out there.
Okay, first off, I think watching Blu-rays is a very cool thing to do. I disagree
But
with that.
don't you also want to share those Blu-rays with someone special? And maybe you have to pay $20 a month or whatever it is for Tinder Gold to share these Blu-rays.
Yeah,
like these are being wasted just on one person.
It's not an indefinite contract. You don't have to do it for the rest of the time. It can just be for 2 months, 3 months. Have a crack. What do you reckon?
Now, I'm a little bit offended that you think it's not like I've been on the profiles this whole time. I just haven't bothered with it,
Well,
So we do have a Unosi sponsor. What do you reckon if the show's budget could stretch to a Tinder Gold, maybe a bit of a sponsorship for Blake? What do you reckon about that, Blake? Do you reckon that would be?
Blake, comment.
Do you think that could work?
Nah, don't need it.
Oh, come on. So the Tom and Laney show sponsors this, pays for this. It's all clear. You don't need to do anything, and you're not going to accept it.
Because I will say this, Blake, the countdown is on to 40. You've got about 48 days left or something like
48 days?
Yeah, something like that. Lane, I'm not sure if you've had a look, but I did send you photos of Blake's Tinder profile, and I've got it up on my phone here now.
I did have a look, and look, there's a couple in there that I quite like these pictures. There's also a couple in there that I quite don't like those pictures as well.
So just
which ones don't you
give
like?
us a feel of, you're the expert.
Give us your profile.
You're the Tinder expert. You were on it, you smashed it. You were dating 10 different chicks a week. It was great for you, Lane. I distinctly remember this time in your life and how happy you were. Remember how happy he was? He was really happy.
He was very happy.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Times changed. Times changed.
Yeah, but what?
So
let's start with what you do like first.
So we'll go through the photo. So trying to paint a mental picture for the listeners out there. We've got number one picture. I think I'm guessing that this is in order. So number one picture, we've got Blake holding his cat. Yes, very, very controversial picture. I had a picture of my cat. There's so many profiles out there who specifically say they hate cats. But my idea was, I don't want them. Yeah.
On your bike, bro.
So
the old saying, beggars can't be choosers. It turns out beggars can be choosers.
Yeah, and I'm choosing my fucking cat any day of the week, bro.
Well, the thing is, Blake lives with a cat, so that's a package deal. So I think that's a positive. The first photo of Blake holding his cat, he's very loving. You can tell he loves a cat.
And just under that lane, you can say, willing to try vegan food is a green flag. Do you think that's a good thing that Blake is encouraging his dates to be vegan?
I think that could be a little bit of a turn off. I'd like it to be a bit more subtle because some people are instantly turned off, but they're still open to it. So by explicitly stating it, you might be turning some people off.
Okay, I
That's
agree
okay
with that.
with me.
Let's go into the second photos, Lane. I'm swiping through now, and I'm looking at a photo of Blake. He recently completed a marathon, very impressive. So yes, Blake is not only charming, attractive, very
right.
talkative, knows a lot about Blu-rays, but he is also a marathon completer. He completed a marathon recently.
In under 4 hours, by the way. Thank you very much. We put that on the.
Yep, so very impressive. He's got a photo of him there at the marathon. Then underneath that lane, I'm looking at a photo, I believe, at Bright in the Bright River, and he's on a tube in the river with his shirt up, looking trim with a nice haircut. What do you think?
I don't mind. I think both of those not bad. The marathon one I would probably change to a different marathon one though. There was a few photos from that day. I took quite a few myself of that.
Maybe an action.
I reckon
action shot, you think?
Action shot.
I would probably be going for an action shot. I know you've got the medal in the first one, so in this one you're holding your medal. You're very proud. But I'd like to see a bit of running going on. This is what this is coming from a gay point of view because I'm a male, so this is hard. This is hard to tell.
Well, and that's the thing. Blake is open to either gender, so if you're out there, don't worry, just apply. Isn't that right, Blake?
No, only open to females. Sorry,
Okay.
Sorry, boys.
The next
So
photo, Lane,
moving on,
yeah, next photo. I've got
we've
Lane,
got.
Oh, I'll go. I've got a geek out on old horror movies as like a topic for discussion, and then he's got a photo here of Rob, Mick, and a woman I assume is Mick's partner or current partner. Not that Blake is friends with any of the three people in this photo.
Excuse me, I just did a triathlon with Rob, but like a week ago. So
Anyway,
he's a good friend of mine.
What do you think of this photo, Michael?
I think it's definitely got to be scrapped. It's quite an old photo. I don't think it's any good. That's got to go.
Hey, look. In my defense, the bottom photos are like whatever, bro. They're just like you see them at the end.
I think this is
no, but that's not what it's like. It's just the problem is it's too old. Whether you've got to have a photo with some like a social photo, I agree, but that's just a bad photo. That's no good. That's gone. That's got to go.
Now, I heard from Blake that this next photo, or the next screenshot I've got here, it features a caption that I believe that he's actually pinched from you, Lane, and it was one of your old topics for discussion. You can guess what my cat's name is. The first round is on me. Is that something that he thinks positive for Blakey there, Lane?
That's a winner. That's a strategy that has never lost on anyone because openers are the hardest part. Yeah, how do you open a conversation? Everyone says hi, how was your day? Who cares? No one cares. But if you say you can guess what my cat's name is, that's someone else is going to speak to you. But that's also meant to be a secret opener. I don't know about telling the whole show about this one. This is
we might edit that out.
We might have to blur that one out because that's a 10 out of 10.
On this show, we never do redacted. We never go back and edit. Never do it. And if anyone requests it, doesn't matter who you are. It's not happening.
No, maybe we should edit that, and you can put that prompt on the Patreon of you guys. You have a Patreon.
Yeah, that should be a paid version because that is a pro strat. There's nothing's going to beat that. So that has to stay no matter what. It has to stay.
If anyone's out there that wants to pay for a paid version of the Tom Laney Show, just message me privately and I'll send you my BSB and account number. Finally, Laney, I've got a photo that I know is so ancient. It dates probably back more than 10 years. It's a photo of Blake at a hostel in America with Mitch and a gentleman. I'm not sure who that gentleman is there, Blake.
He's a doctor now.
He's a doctor.
So there's actually a photo above that, which was we skipped over, but it was at a wedding. Right. There's a photo of Blake at a wedding, which that's got to stay. That's a nice photo. I actually like that. Blake's in his suit. He's got his shirt on. He's got his new do, a lovely haircut going on.
He looks good. My only problem with this photo, Lane, is that I'm in it, and I think that I'm too attractive, and that may steer away like eyeballs from the viewership of the photo. Like maybe Blake crops me. Maybe like same with Sash. Sash looks about 7 foot tall in this photo.
No, but that's on purpose. I got to let them know I'm a short king, bro.
I think maybe. Now, see, I think you want to hide that. I think maybe we crop the photo so it's just you and Mitch. I think that looks good.
I think a crop could work. It does also be a bit more aesthetically pleasing because you and the person next to you have a nice sort of dark suit, and the two people on the outside, Tom and Sasha, both have blue suits. So I think you could crop that one, but that photo should stay. That's a nice photo. In saying that, going back to what Tom was saying before, the photo after that is a photo from at least 12 years ago, I reckon. That is a no. That's a red flag. That you first of all, you look like a baby in it, and second, that's just an old photo. What are you doing?
I do think, Blake, you look here, you do look like a 14-year-old young boy, and looking at you now, you still look like a 14-year-old young boy. So you could convince someone that is you. I don't think that's the problem, but
what can I say?
it's just a matter of whether you want to present a masculine version of yourself or a slightly effeminate version that we're all used to.
I think you're all used to a very masculine version of me.
Okay.
You know?
So I think the changes to come out of this is there's two photo deletes or potential replaces. We get a bit of a photo crop, and I reckon the running one could be swapped with a bit of a better one. That's a primo profile after that.
All right, I'll have a look through some action pics of running, and I'll do a crop.
Okay, so that's what we're going to take out of it. We're going to tweak a few things here now. The only other question I had for you, Blake, is you're on Tinder at the moment, Bumble.
I don't have the app on.
What are you on? What are you currently on?
Hinge.
Okay. Have you thought about Bumble?
I have it. Yeah.
You haven't? Okay. You have it?
I do have it. Yes.
Okay. So maybe we reactivate that. Or maybe we can have a look. One more question, and I know this is a bit of a testy issue for you, but have you considered Grindr? Because I think there's some great options out there for you, bro. I'm not saying you have to date someone
look
very masculine or someone completely ripped, but have you thought about it, bro? Because I think it's definitely within the ballpark for you.
I'll say there was one New Year's when a good friend Al Reed, he kissed me on the lips, and I felt the stubble on me, and I was at that point I was like, definitely not into men.
But what about someone like
Jimmy? That's upsetting.
What about someone like Jimmy, who's quite clean shaven, quite stubble free? Do you think maybe that's more your field?
Nah, I don't trust Jimmy.
Okay, well, I'm not sure about that.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't. Man, he has some very strange opinions on women. I'll put that out there.
That's true, but I do think maybe we'll try this woman thing for a while, and then maybe we'll just try the men. Just give it a shot. What do you reckon?
I feel like probably 1 year of women, and then it's too bad. You're onto both sides.
Yeah, that's it. And to finalize it, beggars cannot be choosers. We'll prove that, because I don't want you. Like I said, you're about 20 days from 40, bro. So we want to cut it down.
We'll put a rain check on the men part of that.
Okay. Well, I think let's start. If you're happy to do Bumble, I think the show might sponsor at least a month of Bumble Plus. We just trial it. We just see how it goes.
Let's give it a go. Now, Blakey, you're famous for your running. You're famous for you being a vegan. You're famous for having a cat. But one of the other things that you are quite famous for is your singing. You take great pride in your singing, don't you?
I do. I have quite the lungs, baby.
Now, previously on the Tom and Laney show, you've sung "Take on Me" by Aha from memory.
Yep.
What was the rap song you did? I can't remember what it was.
It was a Biggie song, wasn't it?
That's right. It was Juicy, wasn't it?
We don't need to worry about any previous rap songs of potential naughty words in them.
Well, I do remember Kieran being distinctly naughty in that song. So, Kieran, if you are listening, because he's sitting in the background eating pizza, Kieran, you've been cancelled. Okay.
I'll just say it was a different time back then when
true.
some videos were recorded.
But Blakey, the people out there want to know. We've done this great work on your romantic life. We want to highlight you in the best way possible. What song are you going to sing for Blakeoke in 2025?
And remember, we've got a big range. You could sing anything here. So you could sing one of the top hits from Chappelle Roan. You could be singing one of the old classics from who knows, AC/DC. Give us first of all, give us a theme of what kind of genre you're going for, and then give us a song.
Well, think James Bond theme songs. You know?
Okay, so we're going movie style. We're going movies.
Oh yes, but this is a deep cut. It's not from a movie.
Okay, so this is going to be video games. So this is for the ladies. This is for the ladies.
All the lady gamers out there. Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of genre is it? Is it like hip hop? Is it pop? How would you describe it?
Well, just I don't know how to describe it.
James
Maybe
Bond
just-
style, so it sounds like
Yeah.
Adele, maybe?
Maybe a bit like orchestral type music.
Oh,
sort of thing.
yes, very much so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, Blake, I think the suspense is killing me. I just can't stand. I'm really stressing me out. I need to know what this song is. Blake is a hitter with it.
We're doing Snake Eater by Cynthia Errol.
Oh, okay.
What
Well,
a tune! That's a tune and a
Yeah.
half.
we're very
Yep.
excited about this. We love this video game. We're going to discuss it afterwards. So let's play Blake's Blakeoke and listen to the dulcet tones of Blake's voice.
Oh yes. What a friend with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'm melting to you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I'll give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I'll give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in snake eater.
There you go, Lane. What do you think?
Wow,
That's pretty good.
wait. For a one take, you killed it. That's
That's it.
quite it. My
That's all it
pants.
needs.
Oh,
I've
that's
sung it a
it.
few times in the shower, so
Ah, so you've been practicing. I didn't realize that.
practicing all my life since I heard that song.
You learnt a few new lyrics while you were watching the karaoke video, didn't you?
I did,
There you go.
So I
that's,
also like that you're wearing the video game t-shirt for the one
Very
before
on
this.
brand.
So did
Very
you
on
not think that you were going to sing this one? Did you think you're going to sing the
Well,
one before?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the MGS free shirt, only the MGS 2, so.
Ah, and there's no MGS2
No.
song, so unless you want to sing dun 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 dun.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you could
times
say,
are tough.
Well, there is the jazz song at the end, technically.
Yeah, but that's no one's going to count that
Yeah.
in the credits. Blake, what do you think? We're heading into Metal Gear Solid season. I believe it comes out the day, I think either after or before my birthday. So I think it's August 28th. What do you think in Metal Gear Solid Delta? What do you think? It's going to be a good game, or do you think my concern with it is it's just going to be basically a updated copy?
See, your concern is what I want it to be. All I want is that pachinko game. I remember you showed it to me. We get the pachinko game in real life.
Pachinko game was just basically cutscenes of Metal Gear Solid 3 in a pokies machine, if you will, in a Japanese style pokies machine. I think I'm a bit concerned, Lane, that this game, while I'll enjoy it because I like Metal Gear Solid, and I like, I'm sure he'll have updated sort of controls, but I just hope there's some new areas or something extra in the game to explore.
So can you explain this Delta? This is the updated version of that same game. So this is Metal Gear Solid 3, but re-released.
But remade from the ground up. So they've copied every part of the game in terms of the voice acting and the music and all the sort of decorative parts, if you will. But the graphics are updated, but the actual gameplay is built from scratch.
So 20 years later, it's been 20 years since the number 3 was released, and this is going to be the update. I think it's going to be great. Why not? It's a banger of a game. The graphics are going to be updated. We're going to have that sweet ray tracing that I know everyone loves so much.
I think it'll be good, and I'll buy it because I want to support the series. But I just hope there's some new areas. That's all I'll say. Maybe some little bit of gameplay tweaks, but we'll see about that. And I'm sure we'll all buy it, and we'll talk about it after the fact.
Yep. Well, I did.
But how they?
Footage. It's very MGS5 style, so I look forward to it. I think.
But just going back to, they're not going to add additional stuff though without the creator as part of it, are they?
Well, Hideo Kojima is no longer part of it, like you just mentioned, Lane. And no, I'm not sure what they'll do, but even just a new area to explore or a new area to sneak through, or maybe some extra enemies in different spots. There's no reason why they can't tweak it because he's not involved in it. He doesn't own the copyright to it. Konami owns it, so I'm not sure, but I'll buy it, and hopefully there's a new Metal Gear game coming out shortly after that.
I'm going to have to decide whether to buy it or whether to do the. I was going to say there's a friend of ours that we know loves breaking the law, tax evasions, all those kind of redacted issues, especially rental fraud, especially. I'm thinking about going his route with the pirate copy. The only problem with that route
is there's no way that guy would know how to do this, so that's out of his technical expertise. But he would pay someone to do it.
I would say I don't know about that route because I think you're still on that shitty graphics card, so you might not get that ray tracing.
Hey, no, I've got a good graphics card, thank you. So get off my back.
Well, Blake, it's been great having you on the show. We thank you for coming down. We loved your Salsa Tones, and we look forward to seeing you progress in your love life. And by the next show, I want to guarantee from you that we're going to have a date. We're going to have a date. We're going to have a recap live from the Tom and Laney show. Can you guarantee that for me?
1 week. You can do it.
Update you. Yes.
You'll guarantee me for a date.
Okay, I'll guarantee you for a date.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited.
And ladies, we know we have a very strong female followership there for the Tom and Laney show. So if you are out there, feel free to message me, message Laney. Hey, even message Blake. Organize a date. If you want to live stream on the Tom and Laney show, we can do it. If you want to do it behind closed doors because of the naughty things you want to do to Blake, by all means, whatever you want, but get in touch with us and let's get this date kicking.
Let's arrange this. I'm very keen for this. This is going to happen. You've got 1 week, Blake. This is definitely going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, plenty of time.
Okay. All right.
Well, thanks for coming in, Blake. It's been lovely to see you and lovely to hear you.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, there you go, Lane. Bit of Blakey detailing his life, detailing his plans for the future. My key question to you is, will he actually follow any of this up?
Normally he doesn't, but I think we've really just got to pester him for this one.
Okay.
I definitely think he could do it. He just needs to put some effort in, and yeah.
We need to stay on top of him for him. I've often said to him, he does a lot of running, so he should join like a running group, maybe meet some new people. He doesn't meet new people through work, so I think that's a strong option for him. But I think that Tinder Gold or Bumble Premium or whatever other one he wants to sign up for, I think that's the key, just to get as many impressions in the dating world as possible.
I don't know why it's so hard to do it though. I was offering show money for him, and he still was just like, whatever. So I don't know. We need to really push this, I reckon. So,
and if you do know Blake, anyone out there, just message him, harass him, and tell him to get out of there because he's got something to offer to the world. He just needs to put himself on the market, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. I'm excited for him.
Let's finish this show up and let's get going. You can tell producer Kieran's not here because unfortunately I'm doing all the music manual. It's a little bit harder than you might think. You know, people out there, people that think that radio's easy. It's not, is it, Lane? It's a lot harder than you think.
It's a lot harder, and especially with Kieran not here, because I think Kieran's the most technical of us, so he knows how to do this kind of crap.
Whatever. It's all right. We'll do it, and we'll smash it out of the park, Lane. Speaking of radio, Triple J, our first story. Triple J is playing more of the same music more often. Now, I think traditionally they sort of had a bigger, wider pool for all their music, and it sounds to me, based on the sort of article I read, that they're sort of focusing a bit more on maybe a little bit more mainstream and maybe a bit more of the same sort of music. So they're still meeting their Australian quota, but yeah, playing more of the same stuff.
I'm pretty frustrated because they said they were doing their peak songs 15 times a week. So what's that, twice a day? That's already hard enough. When you're a tradie, that's all you listen to, radio. You're listening to the radio when you drive to work, at work, and then on drive home. So that's a lot. Now, apparently, they're going to 30 times a week. That's going to be 4 times a day. That's too much. I don't want to hear that.
Because I think maybe the focus of it is trying to get more like hit Australian songs. So yeah, they're still playing the same rotation, but maybe they can give bands a bit more of a stronger push. So maybe that's the thinking behind it. But I mean, I don't really listen to a whole lot of radio as is, so it doesn't really affect me that much. But for people out there, it may start shaping their taste a bit more, I guess. I'm not sure.
But if you're doing, that means now, yeah, if you're doing something for 8 hours a day and you've got the radio on in the background, 4 times to hear the one song is pretty frustrating. You don't want that. That sucks.
That's Fox and Nova level. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it changes, how everyone's watching stuff or listening to stuff, I should say.
Well, something that frustrates me as well, AFL opening round. What do you reckon? Was it actually a good start, or are you team Laney now and you're team anti-football?
Well, see, I put AFL opening round, but it should have said AFL round 1 because that's the round that is playing right now. So disregard opening round, Lane.
Yeah. I thought round 0 wasn't counted. I thought you weren't counting that one.
No, they called that. I think they tried to call that opening round, then they changed it round 0. It's a whole bunch of marketing bullcrap. But we're into the full swing of the AFL season. Unfortunately, Laney, your team, the Blue Baggers, they were favoured $1.06 to $10 for Richmond, and they absolutely shut the bed and lost against the worst team. Many have said that in many years. So not a good start for you. But I mean, I can't talk too much shit because unfortunately, Essendon, they had a good go against Hawthorn on Friday night, but it just wasn't for them. I'm not sure where we're going. So I'll still.
So where was this Richmond bet? Why didn't you have the Richmond bet for $10? Why were you not putting that down last week?
Because I thought that Richmond had absolutely no chance. They got one of the shittest lists in the AFL, and half of their players left last year, and the other half retired. So they didn't really have too much left. But it just shows you how crap your team is, Lane. The Carlton Blues. Not that you specifically care too much about it.
Yeah, I don't think I really missed much sleep over that one, so that's fine.
What about this next sport, Lane? I know you're a bit of a motorhead, and I've got Formula One here, I believe, and I'm just going to pull up the standings now. You got Lando Norris from McLaren 1. His teammate, the main Australian hope, Oscar Piastri. Yeah, actually, I think he qualified second, but it says here he finished 9th. Did you watch any of it, Lane? Do you care about Formula One?
So my strategy for Formula One is in the opening round, which like our AFL opening round, just before the race starts, I get all my information in and then watch a race, and that's it. I don't need to pay attention to anyone before that. Just soak it all up on the day, watch a race, job done. But
so you did watch it.
Today I had to sleep because I didn't sleep last night. So those bushfires just, they just don't want me to be sport king, I guess. So I'm gonna have to get rid of my title.
There's 24 races to go, Lane, and you'll be watching them all at 3 a.m. So unfortunately, that's probably the end of your Formula One year. But you had a good crack.
I had the intention was there. I knew when it was going to start at 3 p.m. I was ready to go, and then I had a bit of a sleep on the couch.
Your dad is going to be very disappointed in you.
Yeah, that's for other reasons too. But the good thing is, though, they're usually on a Sunday night. So if there's an RDO that comes up, maybe I can watch some. Who knows?
Oh, that's a guarantee. That's what tradies get to do. So maybe you'll be lucky enough they'll schedule around the ETU's RDO schedule.
Well, I feel like that's what they should do.
Okay.
Speaking of things that I love. What's something that you love? James Bond. Is there some talks of Pierce Brosnan actually coming back?
There is. Apparently, he's thinking about doing a one-off movie. Pierce Brosnan. He may be doing a bit of an older look at a James Bond. You know, they've had a very famous comic book old man Batman version, not a film. It was a film eventually, but it was originally a sort of graphic novel. And people are thinking, oh, maybe they're going to do a bit of like a sort of darker version of a James Bond. He comes out of retirement for one last mission type deal with an older James Bond. Now I love GoldenEye, that first one. These other ones, Tomorrow Never Dies, not too bad. World Is Not Enough, yeah, okay, but a bit silly. And then Die Another Day, sort of silly again from memory. So I think it'd be good, but hopefully it's more like a sort of GoldenEye sequel sort of setup, I reckon. I think that'd be good.
Well, I always thought watching those movies, those were the first ones that I watched, and I thought that was it. Pierce Brosnan was James Bond, that was it. And then going through, I watched every single one in order, and Pierce Brosnan's, they're not great. They really are not great. They've got the nostalgia there because that's what I grew up watching, but it's not really. It doesn't really seem that sort of serious. It's very cheesy. I don't know.
The first one was awesome. I thought the first one was like one of the better James Bond movies in general. But yeah, after GoldenEye, it sort of went downhill, and yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be good, but who knows? And there's a million movies to get announced these days. Like I see like fake Star Wars ones all the time, but even like Star Wars itself, they've tried to like do like they've put films in pre-production like 7 times, and 6 out of 7 times they've actually just canned it and said, oh, nah, it's not going to go ahead anymore, or they've had creative differences or whatever. So with this kind of shit, you never know what the real thing's going to happen or what's really happening in the background anyway. So
yeah, I think obviously Star Wars really got milked, and I think the same thing's going to happen for James Bond with Amazon owning him. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm not confident.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be something to watch. How about this, Lane? Your hero, Elon Musk, the Nazi saluter. His Tesla stock is now down 30% since the start of the year, but he's tried to save it. He's got the Trumpster out there in front of the White House. They had a big photo up with a brand new shiny Tesla out the front. And it seemed like Trump was sort of doing a bit of a used car salesman type gimmick. What did you think of that, Lane?
I actually read up on that, and apparently Trump had sheets with him as well, trying to say certain things. So he had to say this, he had to say that. But it was kind of embarrassing, him jumping into the car and he said something like, it's all computers now. That was just, I don't know what's going on. That's just embarrassing.
To be fair, I don't think Donald Trump's probably driven a car in 30 years. Like, he would have had a private driver the whole time. When he's in New York, I'm sure he's just staying in his tower. When he's in Florida at his Mar-a-Lago estate, I'm sure he just literally takes like golf cars around from golf course to golf course. So I don't think he's in a car a lot, but
surprising, it's kind of the other way around. I actually looked into this. He's not allowed to drive. So the Secret Service says he's not allowed to drive if you're a president. So apparently he loves driving, and he said he's just not allowed to do it. Yeah, so it's a pretty weird one. But I don't know. This is one of those things that people are I don't know, what would you call them? The rednecks, I guess, in America. They're so obsessed with Trump and Elon, especially. Oh, I was going to say a different word for that person.
Yeah, sorry.
Al's so obsessed with Elon that he keeps on using Twitter, and he's using the Twitter AI just because that's what Elon uses. So I think that's the kind of suckers there is. So if Trump is now seen in a Tesla, I think that could turn around the image a bit for those people in particular. They would be like, oh, we hate EVs, but Trump likes them, so now maybe we like them too.
Maybe. I just don't know if there's enough people out there to sort of push it back up. But I think, listen, if you bought Tesla stock 2 or 3 years ago, you're absolutely killing it. So I don't think they're too stressed about it. But it's an interesting one. I think if there was like a Trump membership, like an AFL club membership, but for Trump fans, Al would buy it, and a lot of the Trump fans would buy it. So Trumpster, there's an idea for you for free. Charge $100, you can be a Trump member for life, and that's a winning ticket for you, I reckon.
Well, there you go. Trump also he convinced 70, 50 million or whatever people to vote for him. I reckon he can convince a few people to buy some cars. So I think that could actually be a good strategy. Good strategies for one of our previous guests as well, Blake. He's got a bung eye. So do a few of other people in our group have bung eyes. I don't know how we're so attracted to it, but I hear this. I hear the surgery costs $4,000. What do you reckon about that? Do you reckon it's worth it?
I think so. I think now I was trying to have a chat with Felicity about this, and we were talking about whether David had the surgery, and you would know, Lane. Did he have surgery, or was it some other option that he had?
This is 20 years ago or something now, I think. I remember he went to a doctor. I don't know if he got the surgery or not, but I do remember not long after that, he told me he had to do all these exercises every day, and he told me he had not bothered with the exercises. So
because every now and then I still look at David and I'm like, is it bung or isn't it? I'm not always 100% sure. It definitely is an improvement over when I first met him, but yeah, I do remember post sort of whatever surgery or whatever it was. I'm not sure.
I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it's an exercise kind of thing that you've got to do. And it's like people who get braces and Invisalign and all that kind of stuff too. If you don't follow it up afterwards, it disappears. So that's the key. Bit of consistency.
I asked my friend ChatGPT for this, and ChatGPT told me that there's two options for you. You get the surgery and then you do all the exercises you mentioned, or Lane, depends on whatever the condition is, but you can get an eye patch, like Solid Snake style, Big Boss style, and that's how you put it on your good eye, and then your bad eye compensates for that. So maybe we can get Blake wearing an eye patch permanently. I think that would be a good look for him.
I actually think that would be sweet. That'd toughen him up a little bit. That'd be cool. I'm jealous now. If he does it, I'll do it.
And going back to his Tinder profile, that might look great on his Tinder profile. What a unique selling option for Blakey.
Yeah, that's going to stand out over all the other generic fishermen and topless guys, whatever. There's going to be Blake with his cat and an eye patch. That's sweet. I rate that.
Beautiful. Well, there you go. That's it, Lane. Another show in the bag. A good one. A great guest and a great conversation with someone that I think has a bright future ahead of him.
I'm excited for our next guest. Do we have any hints of who's going to be coming up, or?
Well, the guest won't excite you as much as because no one's going to know who this guy is. But we're going to be talking Movie World. So I watched this 2-hour Movie World documentary that this guy put together. I know, Lanes, you've watched part of it, and you're going to watch the full part of it soon.
No, I ended up watching the full thing. I loved it. I've never watched a documentary on YouTube before, and this one, 10 out of 10. Loved it.
Yeah. It was very good. So I think we're going to have a chat about Movie World, the future of Movie World, a place that you and I love. We love our theme parks. And I think it's going to be a really good look into what happened at Movie World in the past and what the future is. Because, they've got some exciting things kicking, but you never know with these theme parks. They can go in and out and sort of, it's a tough market sometimes.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So hopefully that does come up soon. Well, let's see how this one went with the guest reviews, I suppose, of Blake.
Yeah, make sure you leave a guest review of Blake. you people out there love Blakey, so thank you to Blake for coming on.
This might end up getting redacted too. This might be quite a short episode. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you click subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. And make sure you leave a 5-star review on Spotify. That's what we want. That's how we're going to get the show out there. So thank you for listening. Thank you for doing all those subscribe and follow things. And we'll see you next week.
All right. See you later.